Hello students, welcome to our biology online class, chapter 5, Fundamental Unit of Life, part 4. In the last videos, we have discussed about two important components of the cell. What are those? What we have discussed in the earlier videos? We have discussed about plasma membrane and cytoplasm. Today we are going to discuss about third important component of the cell, that is nothing but nucleus. It is the control center of the cell. Nucleus is the control center of the cell. Let us start. What is nucleus? Nucleus is one round body structure which is present in the center of the cell. It is one dense protoplasmic body which contains all hereditary information which can transfer from one generation to the next generation. If you see the position of the nucleus in the cytoplasm, it lies in the center part of the cell. It lies in median or central position of the cell. If you observe in one matured plant cell, it lies towards the periphery. Periphery means, when we were discussing about the cell organelles in the previous videos, we have learned that the vacuole present in the plant cell is somewhat large in size. Because of this large vacuole, all other cell organelles along with the cytoplasm are all pushed towards the peripheral regions. In the same way, if you see, based on the organized nucleus, all other organisms are divided into two types. Based on what? Based on well-organized nucleus. Well-organized nucleus means if the nucleus is covered with a nuclear membrane, then it is called well-organized nucleus. If nuclear membrane is absent, then it is called nucleoid. Then it is called nucleoid. Look at here. In prokaryotic cells, nuclear membrane is absent. In prokaryotic cells, nuclear membrane is absent. Then that nucleus in the prokaryotes is called nucleoid, not nucleus. Because nuclear membrane is absent. Whatever materials which are present inside that nucleus are naked. So this type of substance, this type of body is called nucleoid. In the case of prokaryotes, we can call this structure nucleoid, not nucleus. Cells like RBC and other sieve elements does not contain nucleus. If you observe in human beings, RBC does not contain nucleus. It is anucleated. Cells without nucleus cannot survive for long time. You all know that there is a lifespan for RBC. Within 120 days, they will destroy in the liver or spleen of the human body because they are lack of nucleus. If one nucleus is present in any cell, that type of cells are called uninucleated cells. But some type of cells may have more than one nuclei also. Those are called multinucleated cells. If one cell is present, that is called uninucleated. If more than one nucleus is present, that type of cells are called multinucleated cells. But most of the cells contain single nucleus only. Eunucleated cells are present in most of the organisms. Now let us see what is nucleus made up of. What is nucleus made up of? Nucleus is made up of with three important components. First one, nuclear envelope. Second one, nucleoplasm. Third one, nucleolus. Nucleus is made up of three important components. First one, nuclear envelope. It is one double membrane covering which separates the contents of the nucleus from the cytoplasm. What is nuclear membrane? Nuclear membrane is a double layered membrane which covers the nucleus. Nucleus is covered by two layers which is called nuclear envelope and it separates the nuclear material from the cytoplasm. And this nuclear membrane contains so many nuclear pores. Why? These nuclear pores, pores means small hole-like structures present on the membrane of the nucleus, which is called nuclear envelope. And what is the purpose of this nuclear pore? These pores allow the exchange of materials between the nucleus and the cytoplasm. Whatever proteins, carbohydrates, lipids are produced inside the cytoplasm, inside the other cell organelles, those are all exchanged into the nucleus from the cytoplasm. This is about nuclear envelope, which contains nuclear pores. You see the second important component of the nucleus, that is nothing but nucleoplasm. Nucleoplasm means it is one liquid-like substance which is present inside the nucleus. Do you remember cytoplasm word? Cytoplasm is the jelly-like substance which presents inside the cell. In the same way, nucleus also contains one colorless dense sap found inside the nucleus, which is called nucleoplasm, in which thread-like structures which are called chromatin and one another round body structure nucleolus are suspended. Nucleoplasm is one liquid-like substance present inside the nucleus. It is colorless and dense sap, that means one thick material. It is present inside the nucleus, in which thread-like structures called chromatin along with that another round body which is called nucleolus are present inside the nucleus. Let us know about nucleolus. Nucleolus, just now I told you, nucleolus is a round structure found inside the nucleus. It is rich in RNA, ribonucleic acids, and proteins. Nucleolus is rich in more amounts of RNA and proteins are present in the nucleolus. Because of this, it synthesis ribosomes, that means ribosomes are the cell organelles which involves in the protein synthesis. These ribosomes which synthesize proteins are synthesized by the nucleolus only. Ribosomes are produced inside the nucleus. Understand? Now let us discuss about the differences between nucleus and nucleolus. What is nucleus? As I told you, nucleus is a round, dense protoplasmic body which contains genetic information, and it is covered by one double layer nuclear envelope. Double layered means two membranes are present around this nucleus. And what is the function of nucleus? It controls the functioning of all other cell organelles which are present inside the cell. That's why the nucleus is called brain of the cell. It controls all other cell organelles. And if you see nucleolus, nucleolus is one component of the nucleus which is present inside the nucleus. Nucleus is present inside the cell. Nucleolus is present inside the nucleus. It is not covered with any membrane and it involves in the production of ribosomes. I hope you have understood the differences between nucleus and nucleolus. And we have to discuss about one more important component in the nucleus, that is nothing but chromatin material. What is this chromatin? In the last video we have seen this. Inside the nucleus some thread-like structures are present which are the sites of hereditary information. All information related to the parents is present inside these thread-like structures only. And these thread-like structures are called chromatin and it is made up of with lot of DNA and proteins. What is DNA? Deoxyribonucleic acid. Chromatin is made up of DNA and proteins. And what is the function of this chromatin? It helps in the transfer of characteristics from parents to the offspring, that means to the next generation. During cell division, whenever the cell about to divide, this chromatin substance, that means chromatin means thread-like structures, becomes highly condensed and they become very thick and they appear as rod-like structures. Chromatin during cell division time, they becomes highly thick in content and appear as long rod-like structures. Up to now I am telling that thread-like structures are called chromatin. But during the stage of cell division, whenever the cell is about to divide, then immediately these thread-like structures become very condensed and thick. They appear as rod-like structures. These rod-like structures are called chromosomes. These rod-like structures are called chromosomes. Chromosomes are formed from the chromatin during cell division time only. Okay. Now let us know about these chromosomes more detailed. Chromosomes are the dense rod-like structures which are present during cell division time only, which are appearing during cell division time. These thread-like structures are called chromosomes, which are referred as hereditary vehicles also, because they contain all the hereditary information which can transfer from parents to the offsprings. That's why these chromosomes are called hereditary vehicles. Vehicles means carrying something. What does this chromosome carry? Chromosomes carry hereditary information from parents to the next generation. If you see the composition of chromosomes, chromosomes are made up of with DNA and proteins. See the structure of one chromosome here in this picture. Look at this picture. This is one chromosome. This is one chromosome. This is another chromosome. These are dense two-stranded structures which are called chromosomes. See this? Two similar threads are present here. These two similar threads are called chromatids. This is one, this is one. These are two similar thread-like structures. A chromosome consists two similar thread-like structures which are called chromatids. And these two chromatids are attached at the center by another structure which is called centromere. Here these two strands are connected. Look at this structure. Here these two strands, these two chromatids are attached at the center with a small round body which is called centromere. On either side of this centromere, chromatids are the arms. Here centromere is present. On either side, chromatids are present. This is one chromatid. This is one chromatid. I hope you have understood about the structure of chromosomes. Now let us see how many chromosomes are present in each and every organism. The chromosome number is fixed for each species. Species means the animals which related to one group. All human beings comes under one species. All monkeys comes under one species. All cows comes under one species. Like that, every group of animals, same resembled animals comes under one species, group of animals. And if you see the number of chromosomes, it is fixed for each and every species. In most of the organisms, they occur in homologous pairs. In pairing condition only, in most of the organisms, chromosomes are present. In each pair, one chromosome belongs to father and another one contains mother information. Always these chromosomes are available in pairing condition only. Pair means two. In the last video we have seen the structure of chromosome. There two chromatids are present. Do you remember that? That means they occur in homologous pairing condition. In this pairs, one related to the father and another one related to the mother. Okay, if you see the presence of these number of chromosomes in two sets, that condition is called diploid condition. If the chromosomes are present in two sets, that means in pair condition, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Like that, if they occur in two sets of chromosomes, that condition is called diploid condition. For example, if you see the human beings contains 46 chromosomes. Actually 46 chromosomes. If you tell these are in pair, how many pairs are there in human beings? 46 divided by 2. 23 pairs of chromosomes are there in human beings. 46 is the diploid condition. If you tell that one in single set, that is 23 pairs. This is called chromosome number which occurs in two sets of chromosomes, that is called diploid, and if the chromosomes are present in single set, that is called haploid in condition. Haploid in condition. Now in this 46 chromosomes of human beings, 46 is called diploid condition and 23 pairs is called haploid condition. Like that, every living organism contains one fixed number of chromosomes. Not all type of animals contain the same type of chromosome number. Okay. Now let us understand the role of nucleus in a cell. Nucleus contains, already we have discussed about this. Nucleus contains all the genetic information not only for the cell but also the whole organism. Nucleus contains lot of genetic information which related to the whole organism characteristics, and it functions as control center of the cell. Which one is called control center of the cell? Nucleus is called control center of the cell. Why it is called control center of the cell? As it controls all the cell activities, all cell metabolisms, all other cell organelles functions. As it is controlling all other cell metabolisms and cell activities, this nucleus is termed as control center of the cell. And ribosomes are formed by nucleolus. Nucleolus is the part of nucleus which is present inside the nucleus. Okay, and these nucleolus are formed ribosomes. Nucleolus forms ribosomes which involves in the protein synthesis. And if you see the another important point, nucleus brings about cell differentiation by which a cell attains a specific structure and function. This nucleus only brings out the cell differentiation. That means the cells present inside the stomach are one type of category, and the cells present inside the heart, they perform one type of function, and the cells present inside the kidney, they perform one type of function. That means the cell differentiation taking place here, that cell differentiation is carried out by the nucleus only. It attains a specific structure and function to all cells. Division of nucleus is essential for cell division. Whenever cell about to divide, immediately the nucleus which is present inside the cell also gets divided. That one is very essential for the cell division, because to transfer the characteristics from the parents to the babies. And reshuffling of the chromosomes and changes in the genes produce variations. From each and every organism there are lot of variations present. Even human beings look like same. If you observe the characteristic of one human being to the another, lot of variations are there. We all comes under one species only, but why these variations occur? Because of the chromosomes only. On the chromosomes, small functional units are present which are called genes. The changes which are happening in these genes produce variations in the species. about prokaryotes and eukaryotes in the previous slide. What is meant by prokaryote and what is meant by eukaryote? All organisms are divided into two types based on the presence of well-organized nucleus. Prokaryotes do not contain any type of well-organized nucleus that houses its genetic material. That houses means it surrounds its genetic material. Prokaryotic cell consists of large DNA compact in an area of cytoplasm but without nuclear membrane. The materials which are present inside the nucleus are naked because lack of nuclear membrane is present. The total material is called nucleoid. Already I told you this one. Nucleus is absent in prokaryote, but the material, that means the chromatin, all the chromosomes which are present inside the nucleus in multicellular organism, that region is called nucleoid because of lack of well-organized nuclear membrane. And this nucleoid region is protected and encased by the cell wall. Nuclear membrane is absent here. Then how these materials are protected? They are encased by the cell wall. Cell wall is the characteristic feature of plant cells only. Cell membrane, cell wall or cell membrane, which are the outer layering of the cells. And finally, if you see, this is the structure of one bacteria. In the center of the cell, nucleus is absent, but the material, chromatin, all structural thread-like structures which are present inside the nucleus are naked here without the nuclear membrane, and this region is called nucleoid. Nucleoid. Okay. Now let us see the differences between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Prokaryotes are very small in size. They measure about 1 to 10 microns in length. They are very small in size when compared to the eukaryotes. Eukaryotes are larger in size. They measure about 5 to 100 microns. Already in the first video we have seen the scale of organisms. Do you remember that? Yes. Micron is the 1,000th of the millimeter. Prokaryotes are in the range of 1 to 10 microns in size, and eukaryotes are somewhat large in size, 5 to 100 microns in size. Based on what these organisms are divided into prokaryotes and eukaryotes? Based on nucleus only, no? Well-organized nucleus is absent in the case of prokaryotes. Prokaryotes, in the name itself it is there. Pro means primitive. Karyote means nucleus. Primitive nucleus is present here, not well organized. That means the nucleus is not surrounded by layer. Here a single DNA molecule is present in the cytoplasm, and nucleus is also absent in the prokaryotes. Only DNA is present, and membrane bound cell organelles are present in prokaryotic cells. Typical vacuoles are present, which are very important for the digestion, excretion and all the life processes. And mitosis division is absent in the case of prokaryotes. There are two types of cell divisions. One is mitosis and meiosis. I hope you have learned this one in your lower sections. The examples, if you see, for prokaryotes, all bacteria comes under prokaryotic organisms. Along with that, cyanobacteria also comes under prokaryotic organisms because they are very primitive organisms with all these characteristics. Their cell is not bounded with membrane. All membrane bounded cell organelles are also absent. Or if you see this eukaryotic cell, it is large in size. Organized nucleus is present. Organized nucleus in the sense it contains nuclear envelope and nucleolus, and several DNA molecules are present. Then it is called organized nucleus. If the nucleus is covered with nuclear membrane, Nucleolus is present inside the nucleus, and if it contains DNA molecules, that nucleus is called organized nucleus. But all these characteristics are absent in prokaryotic cells. And if you see, membrane bound organelles are present in the case of eukaryotes. Every cell organelle is covered with one outer membrane. Typical vacuoles are present here. Mitosis division is present in the case of eukaryotes. If you see the examples of eukaryotes, all plants, all animals and some type of fungi comes under this type of categories. This type of eukaryotes. I hope you have understood the differences between prokaryote and eukaryote. Primitive organisms and higher organisms. Primitive organisms like prokaryotes, they don't contain well-organized nucleus, lack of nucleolus and very single strand of DNA molecule is present. Cell organelles are lack of membranes. Mitosis is absent. Typical vacuoles are absent. Examples if you see, bacteria and cyanobacteria. Eukaryotes are large in size. Well-organized nucleus is present with nuclear envelope, nucleolus and DNA molecules are present inside this. All cell organelles are covered with membranes. Vacuoles are present. Mitosis division takes place and plants, animals, fungi are the examples of eukaryotic organisms. See the picture of the eukaryotic cell here. All cell organelles are present in this picture. Nucleus, mitochondria, cytoplasm, cytoskeleton. This is nucleus which is present in the center of the cell. And do you remember that endoplasmic reticulum has connections with the nuclear membrane? Look at these all yellow color structures here which are strand like structures. Those are endoplasmic reticulum. They have connections with nuclear membrane. Nuclear membrane have so many pores also for the transfer of materials from the cytoplasm to the nucleus. This one is called nucleolus. Nucleolus is the another structure, round body structure present inside the nucleus. You can look at here. And ribosomes, which helps in the protein synthesis. They may occur free in the cytoplasm and also on the endoplasmic reticulum. Based on these ribosomes only, endoplasmic reticulum is divided into two types. Do you remember that? Rough endoplasmic reticulum, smooth endoplasmic reticulum. And second important, Golgi apparatus. Look at here the strands which are arranged in parallel way. These yellow color structures are Golgi apparatus which helps in the storage of all the materials. And see these mitochondria. This one is mitochondria and this is the powerhouse of the cell. It contains two layers. And centrioles which are helpful during cell division. Plasma membrane which covers, this is the plasma membrane. Look at this, the outer cell layer which protects the cell and keeps its contents separate from the outer environment. That is called plasma membrane. Cytoskeleton here, that means cytoplasm completely it contains one fiber-like structures which give proper shape to the cell. Internally inside the cytoplasm so many strands are present. Fiber-like structures are present which gives skeletal frame to the cell. That is called cytoskeleton. The skeleton fibers which are present inside the cytoplasm. This is about the eukaryotic cell, multicellular cell. Look at this plant cell. It is in hexagonal shape. Nucleus is pushed towards the peripheral region. This purple color organelle is called nucleus. It is towards the side and this sap is called this vacuole. Large vacuole is present in the cytoplasm and these green color structures are called chloroplasts. That means plastids. Already we have learned about this plastids which give green color to the leaves. Chlorophyll, due to the presence of a pigment chlorophyll. These are called chloroplastids, and these are Golgi apparatus, long strand-like structures which are arranged parallel to each other. These are the extra materials which arise from the endoplasmic reticulum only. And these purple color structures are called endoplasmic reticulum. Here also two types of endoplasmic reticulums are there, rough endoplasmic, smooth endoplasmic, because of the presence of ribosomes. Big vacuole is present and its outer layer is called tonoplast. Vacuole outer membrane is called tonoplast. As I told you in the animal cell cytoskeleton, here also so many fiber-like structures, microfilaments, intermediate filaments, microsubstances, microtubules are spreaded throughout the cytoplasm, which gives support and turgidity to the cell. These comes under cytoskeleton. These green color parts are called chloroplasts. And here if you observe, the cell membrane which covers the contents of the cell is again covered by one outer membrane which is called cell wall. Cell wall is present only in plant cell. Chloroplasts are present only in plant cell. And next, mitochondria are also present here. Look at this structure. Small mitochondria is visible here. This is mitochondria and plasma membrane. If you observe the structure of nucleus, again come here. Nucleus contains three components: chromatin, nucleolus, nuclear envelope. Centrosomes are also present here, which are helpful during cell division. I hope you have understood the structure of animal cell and plant cell. The shape of the animal cell is somewhat oval, and if you observe the structure of the shape of the plant cell, it is hexagonal in shape. See here clearly, all cells, both plant cell and animal cell, contains the same type of cell organelles except cell wall, plasmodesmata, tonoplast, that means chloroplast, green color pigments, tonoplast, vacuole layer, large vacuole. These are the special characteristics of plant cell. If you see the animal cell, all cell organelles are present like cytoskeleton, peroxisomes, mitochondria, ribosomes, rough endoplasmic reticulum, nucleus is present, smooth endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus is present in both cells, lysosomes which are called suicidal bags, and plasma membrane is present in both type of cells. But animal cell contains centrioles. Centrioles are very important for cell division. Okay, this is the difference between the structure of plant cell and animal cell. I hope you have understood about the fundamental unit of life. Every function of the human being is carried out by some specialized components which are present inside the cell, which are called cell organelles. Because of this only, the cell is called fundamental unit of life. This is the last video related to this chapter. Thank you. Hari Om.